Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to Boss Rush After Dark, the alternative podcast show for the Boss Rush Network. As always, I'm your host, LeRon Dawkins, and back with me, of course, is the wonderful Stephanie Klimov and my boy, Mr. Corey Derrick. How are you guys doing tonight?
We are here.
I'm great, LeRon. Thanks for asking.
Which Monster Energy drink are you drinking right now?
I'm drinking the Zero Ultra White Monster Energy drink. We are not sponsored, but Monster, if you want to sponsor this show and other shows on the network, I will happily take free Monster, and you can send some stuff too.
We both consume an obscene amount of energy drinks.
Oh my gosh, I have another case coming tomorrow. That's so exciting.
Wait, if it's zero, that means it's a 0 calorie one?
It's 0 sugar, 0 calorie, and 0 carbs. It has 10 calories.
And it doesn't taste like blue colored chalk, I'm assuming?
Oh, it doesn't. It's not like. It's not delicious or anything. It's fine. It gets the job done.
I mean, if you're drinking with no problems, then it's not bad.
Yeah,
No, it's not bad at all. But it's not like the most delicious drink in the whole entire world.
I tell you what, I stopped drinking pop like a long time ago, and this is like a pop substitute, and I don't drink coffee. I don't drink tea. I don't drink pop.
That is not how you do that.
Listen, just let me finish, okay? No, never had that problem. I stopped drinking pop, and like this is like a substitute for all caffeine things for me. But then I went back and tasted pop. Like every once in a while, I will take a sip of pop just somewhere. Soda for you people elsewhere. And like I don't like the taste of pop, like Coke or Mountain Dew or Pepsi. I can't do it anymore. It just tastes like a syrupy, sugary mess.
What flavor is that one? The Monster Energy Drink Zero
Ultra.
Zero Ultra. Let's see. Carbonated water, citric acid, erythritol.
Stop reading the ingredients. You're just gonna ruin it.
Okay.
You know what it is, LeRon? It's happiness.
Because Stephanie said so, I will stop.
I mean,
wow, I didn't realize I carried that much weight. Cool.
It has less caffeine than a can of Mountain Dew. I can tell you that. It says 100.
Do they even give metrics for caffeine anymore? I don't see a lot of places that give a metric for. I'm looking at Dr. Pepper has no caffeine. So yeah, never mind.
Yeah. By the way, this is not a significant source of saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, dietary fiber, vitamin D, calcium, iron, or potassium.
But it will burn a hole in your stomach.
If there was trans fat in a liquid drink,
hurts. Oh well, it's fine. By the way, if you're watching the video version and you play Apex Legends, you can go ahead and scan that QR code. I'm not going to use it. There you go.
Yeah, I'm kind of like I like the flavor of like these energy drinks and stuff like that, but thank God I'm not really like they're another crutch for me. Like
they definitely are for me. If I don't have one, if I don't have like 2 or 3 in a day, I'm gonna cry under the desk.
Yeah, when you see me reach for a Bang energy drink or what's the other one? The one that's the Ghost energy drinks, like it's completely because I'm just into the flavor, but even though I did make a mistake one night, because one of the nights we did the podcast, I had one of the Ghost the strawberry bubblicious ones. I could not go to bed because that was a late night we wrapped the podcast up. I want to say we wrapped it past 12:30 and stuff like that, and I was up till 2 a.m. That's the first time I can say caffeine has ever affected me to the point where it kept me up. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it was a fluke or whatnot, but yeah. So I learned my lesson. No more Bang Monsters, Red Bulls, Red Bulls are disgusting. After 10 o'clock for me. I will still drink like Pepsi and Coke and all that stuff,
Yeah, I just look, this Monster to me is like those people you see just like they're already lighting another cigarette before their other one's empty. Like that's me. Done, burnt. I don't know how you describe a cigarette that's over. I don't know.
Yeah, See, I never got hooked on any of that stuff. I can't even say I got hooked on ecstasy. I liked taking ecstasy when I was doing it, but like it wasn't like I had to get my hit like every weekend or something like that.
I
I,
think
I don't really have I don't really have an addictive personality. I vape, but it's just really recreational and stuff like that. Like I mean, it takes me. I buy a bottle of juice for a vape, and it takes me literally months to go through that bottle, that one bottle.
Actually,
Yeah.
that's like a good topic, either if it's for tonight or another time, is addictive personalities.
Oh, I do. I do. That's why I so I really like that's why I don't like I mean, it's why I don't smoke and why I don't drink like really at all. But like when it comes to like this or even like collecting things and stuff, it's like I got to get them all. I got to find them all. I got to have this specific number of things, and it's why I like really tried to cool it on collections and collector's editions of games and even like DVDs and stuff. Like I got rid of it because like I know if if one is sitting there, I'm gonna be like, why do I only have one? And so
Yeah, like I try to watch myself because like I will become a hoarder. Shoot, I mean seriously, people think I'm weird because I've gotten rid of like a console and this entire library of stuff because I'm tired of dealing with it. I'm tired of looking at and seeing it. And I never hook it up. Or even worse, like I may have the last console I gave away was like a Sega Dreamcast, and I gave away every game I had with it and every accessory and everything. Like a buddy of mine, like he was always like, "Man, I really wish I'd jumped in on the Dreamcast." I was like, "Well, you know what? I'm getting ready to move. Here you go, like a box full of Dreamcast and controls and all that stuff, and games, all that stuff." Because guess what? Like I might have the system in my possession, but guess what? I have the emulators on my computer, so I just never plug the damn thing in, stuff like that. So what's the point?
Yeah,
PAX will just give you the good loving tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I started really thinking about that too with Switch and stuff. It's like I really like these boxes, but like getting the cartridges in and out of your Switch is a pain in the ass, first of all. But like I like the way they sit on my shelf, but also like I used to really like I think about it now, is like I used to love collecting for Nintendo 64 and GameCube, and it's like I'm like, well, all the games on GameCube that I had, or on N64 that I had, I can play on my Switch, or the ones that aren't available on Switch are available on Xbox through the Rare Replay collection. So like, why do I why do I own these? And then I look at it, I'm like, well, Banjo-Kazooie makes me happy. I'm like, oh, I have a complete inbox with the strategy guide. That's neat. I bet I could probably sell that for a pretty penny. But then I would be upset that I sold it, Like last year I sold Paper Mario complete inbox for N64 with the strategy guide for like almost $200.
Nice.
And I was like, well, now I'm kind of sad because now it's missing from my collection. But also I bought an Xbox Series X to play Destiny, so oh well. It's like, how much does that stuff really matter? And like, when I die, what's going to happen to all this stuff? Because like I remember cleaning out my grandma's house, and like she had all this crap, and I'm like, I don't want people to do that for me.
See, that's the other thing too, right? Like it's one of those things where it's like, man, like do I want people dealing with my crap? Like, do I have to like create a last will and testament and be like, this is how we get rid of my shit?
Well, Corey, your kids could sell them, and then that'll pay for their pay off their college loans.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Oh, you're telling me I'm going to die before my kids go to college? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No.
College
loans last many, many years.
Like
college loans follow your family after you die and stuff like that. That's why
my student loans are paid off because my grandma died and left me a bunch of money, and I paid them off.
That's awesome.
When your kids go to college and they graduate, odds are, unless there's something crazy that changes, they're going to have student loans for a very long time. So I'm not saying that you're not going to live past going to college.
It's funny because it's funny because like like I'm listening to all sides of the equation here about like the whole like Biden like making student loan forgiveness a thing and stuff like that, and I'm hearing every possible thing from all sides about this stuff, and like I've got some friends that like they're like I've got some friends that they're not being insensitive, but at the same time they're saying like it's not like the people, the taxpayers who like our money is like going into like these loan forgiveness and stuff like that. Like it's not fair to us, because like somebody got a degree in like something that like they can't get a job in or whatnot and stuff like that. I'm
Mhm.
like college is like the dream of college. For a lot of people was just that, a dream, like and it wasn't even their dream, it was just a dream that somebody put on them, like go to college, do this, do that. Like I don't have college debt because I never went to college, joined the military and stuff like that, and then I never used my GI Bill. Oh, by the way, for anyone that's in the military right now, your GI Bill, you need to use that. You need to use that, or whatever it's called now. You need to use that because, like, I take it from me. Like, I came from a time when the GI Bill was like, you use it or you lose it. Like, you had X amount of time that you like use your GI Bill, or you don't get that money. So,
Mhm.
use it. That's all I'm gonna say. If you plan on going to college, use that shit. Or But anyway, I don't have any student loan debt because I never went to college and stuff like that. But at the same time, I look at like the stuff that goes on with people's like college loan debt and all that stuff, and it's like it's criminal. Because like people were told there was up to a certain time when people were told like your life absolutely doesn't mean shit unless you have a college degree and stuff like that. I'm part of that generation that was told that shit.
Mhm.
Or
Me too.
and like like some like I'm also part of a generation where it was like like I I'm a black man. I'm in my late 40s and stuff like that. Like I come from a family line where like it was the hopes and dreams that like younger generations in the family could go to college because that was something the older generation never did. So like yeah, there's a narrative behind this whole college thing and stuff like that. Like I was trying to explain that like we've got things going on in our lives that like sometimes we go to college to fulfill somebody else's dream. It's not even our dream sometimes and stuff like that. Sometimes we go to college for a job that we for to major for a job that we think we're going to have, and we wind up doing something completely different. And like we probably wasted our degree our degree in our education. But you know what, and also there's another thing about it too. Not everybody's taught like how you look at your education as far as like your future and your career goes. Not everybody's taught that. Some people go to college and they're absolutely tired from the academia of being through high school and stuff like that. And they just
Mhm.
go to college because like hey, like that's what I'm supposed to do and stuff like that. Like like some people just don't have that spark, that ingenuity to know, like, hey, like when I sit down in these classes for the next 4 years, this is my future and stuff like that, and stuff like that. So I had to explain to all these people, like it's this, and why the fuck are you getting pissed off, because like our tax-paying dollars, going to some people that are up to their gills in fucking college debt, and like that shit's gonna follow their kids once they die and stuff like that. That's the unfair part. That's the bullshit, and it shouldn't be that way. And like I can't fault anyone for wanting to get an education. I can't, because last I checked, like what you learn is basically what you're worth and stuff like that. So if someone wants to go get higher education and stuff like that, like don't crucify them because like they got the higher education but they didn't wind up getting the job there. At least they're fucking smart in something.
I just wish I didn't put so much effort paying off my student loans because I took a big risk. I took out 2 credit cards. I emptied out my bank account. If I didn't do that, I would still have college loans and I could have benefited from this. But no. But that's just me being selfishly
But you,
salty. I'm
but
not
what?
against helping other people.
There's something to be said about that, because that's the other part of it too. Like I don't know when it was a thing to not teach people fiscal and financial responsibility, through school and stuff like that. Like I sure as hell didn't get that, and I graduated in school in like the early '90s and stuff when they were still they were making us go to home economics to teach us how to be like good dads and good moms, make sure the baby doesn't fall, doesn't drown in the bathtub when you're giving them a bath and all that stuff. But didn't teach us jack shit about balancing a fucking checkbook and stuff like that, and that's the other thing too, just because you went to college doesn't always mean you know what to do with your fucking money or how to manage your budget and all that stuff, and things like that. If people knew how to manage their budget and what to do with their money, they probably would not have gotten like these crazy ass fucking college student loans and with the crazy ass interest rates,
Well, there's like so many other ways now that you can get noticed, like I mean, I got hired at my job because of these podcasts, right?
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with my resume, what I did for college, what I did for school, nothing. It was because
I'm curious. What did you go to school? What did you go to college for? If you don't mind me asking.
Well, at the time, it was called new media, and it was like a mixture of graphic design and what is now social media, right? But social media wasn't a term at the time. It was called new media.
That's awesome. New media. I can't believe
new
it.
media.
Yeah. So
can we go back to calling it that?
I mean, let's. Yeah.
Steph, did you go straight into like medical for pharmacy? Did you go straight into that, or did you take a path?
No, my parents will deny it, but forced to go to pharmacy school right after high school. It's a 6-year program, like a straight 6-year shot to get that doctor's degree.
Mm-hmm.
And I always would remind them back when I was trying to pay off my over $100,000 of debt. I'm like, I could have gone to, this was my path. If they allowed me to go my path to a college in New Hampshire that I wanted to go to, St. Anselm's, with a pre-med. So I was still doing healthcare, pre-med and criminal justice under a presidential scholarship. I earned one of the highest scholarships where I would have almost gotten a free ride. So even though I wouldn't have been a pharmacist, I would have had like substantially less debt. But no, they're like, nope, throw that presidential scholarship in the trash and go to the pharmacy school with no finance.
That just breaks my brain. It's a fucking scholarship. What?
They're like, you wouldn't have gotten as nice of a degree and getting a job with as high of a pay.
It doesn't in this fucking economy. A degree is a degree.
Exactly. So I'm very salty about that.
I'm salty for you.
I went to like a sub branch of a small college here. Like the schools around here, like within quote unquote driving distance, are Akron U and Kent State University. And I went to Kent State University, but I went to their Stark branch, which is like 40 minutes from their main branch. And it was like, I went there and was fine. Like, I don't know. I feel like unless you're going to go be like a super lawyer from Harvard or Yale or want to be some sort of politician, I don't know if it really matters where you get your degree from, Like we were talking about that at work the other day. It was like I don't know. And judging by what I was told why I got hired, I'm like, man, college was just like super overrated, I guess.
That's why I want to teach my son. Like you said, unless you're at those Ivy Leagues, which, by the way, honestly, at this point, the only way to get an Ivy League is if you have a connection. Mm-hmm. Just saying. Or anyway. Anything else other than that, some college names are nice.
I feel like that was going somewhere, and we just totally skipped over it.
What? Where'd you think I was going?
Nothing. Just keep going.
I thought he was laughing at what I said. Oh my god, because I said so audible. I just realized. I was doing the work earlier to get Crossroads episode 93 up on Anchor, and I made the mistake again where I put the actual video version of the podcast up, and I'm sort of like, if I delete that and put the audio, will it matter? And they're like, no, you have to like put all your description, all your text in. So I'm like, fuck it, the video version's going out there on Anchor. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail that conversation.
We totally just interrupted Stephanie, and now I feel bad.
No, it's okay. I wanted to know. I don't know. My bottom line is, unless it's an Ivy League school, and at this point the acceptance rates are so small, you need to like have an in with someone, like a connection, or else you won't get in, basically. Other than that, there's some great colleges out there, like Boston University is a great like shout out to them, because I applied and I got in, and guess what, my mom also didn't let me choose that. But like, for example, for colleges like that, you could have like a semester could be like 50 grand up to there. But like, I hate to say it, but you could go to a college or university that costs much less, get an equitable degree, and still get the same kind of job.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you know what your mom's motivation is for how she looked at your education? Because I don't think she knows.
No, she just thought, again, just for people who don't know, Tiger Mom, Asian heritage, Eastern mindset. You need to be a doctor or a lawyer or some sort of.
We do laugh at that. We do laugh at that, like non-Asian, like people. We do laugh at that. But damn, like I'm starting to see it's a real thing.
It is legit. Like it might change the next generation down, but like, and at first she wasn't like against me going to that. It was St. Anselm's with a presidential scholarship because I was going to do pre-med, but I guess her brain did this math when she got this stupid fucking flyer for pharmacy school. Oh my goodness, you can have a doctor's degree in 6 years instead of 4 years of pre-med, 4 years of med school, then residency. So she thought she was doing me a favor of getting a quicker, easier, faster version of a doctor's degree by going to pharmacy school instead of going the medical doctor route.
Okay.
I don't care. I still never been to a fucking pharmacy before pharmacy school. Hated chemistry. I have a family that does holistic medicine. Why am I being forced to do this?
I feel you.
Yeah. I mean when I was trying to go to school, like I wanted to go to art school, and my parents told me that was a dumb idea. And so I went for business and did terrible. And then I ended up doing what I loved, and now my mom says I work for the internet. So
Wait, you what?
my mom says I work for the internet
because
I do stuff on the.
You work for the internet. The internet is your employer.
Yeah.
Hey. At least that's better than when I told my mom like I do podcasting and stuff, and literally the first question out her mouth was like, "Are you getting naked on the internet?"
I love it.
Say it depends on what night it is.
I'm not doing it on podcast if we're being completely transparent.
Oh, it's so funny.
What I want to do. So go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say my mom still asks me if I still do my internet shows with that black guy. And she'll whisper it in the phone, and I'll be like, yeah, but you don't have to whisper it. Is he still gay?
Is he still...
I'm like, well, technically he's bisexual, but yeah.
Bisexuality bends the brains of freaking older people.
I know.
I think it bends the brains of a lot of people, LeRon, not just that. Because is it me, LeRon, or do you still feel like a lot of people, even in the LGBT community, not everybody, they're like, they kind of misclassify us and like, oh, you just can't make up your mind, or you're
Yeah, for real. I can't stand it. Or the fact that I'm dating a man right now does not, just completely invalidates my bisexuality, and stuff like that. Like we don't have an open relationship, but like my boyfriend knows I can be attracted to a woman at any time.
Ugh, that's like a whole nother road that I've
go down. Yeah, I mean, being a member of the alphabet gang is not fun. Depending on which letter you are in the alphabet gang, like it is not fun.
Yeah.
I know it's probably really insensitive of me to laugh at that, but that was really funny.
That was clever. I like that.
I mean, we keep adding letters too. That's the crazy part. And I'm not saying that in any way to be insensitive or whatnot. Like shit.
Well, they added a plus at the end because there's too many letters.
Yeah, they were tacking on letters. Real soon is going to have all 26 letters and probably, they've got punctuation now. So.
Yeah. Actually, I haven't seen the movie, and I only saw this clip in the trailer. I think it's for Bromance. There's a movie where, like, I guess it's very like focused on LGBTQ. It's a comedy or something, and they're in like this boardroom, and everyone like is representative like a certain like letter, like, and they're fighting over like the different like recognition days. Like there's this guy, I guess he represents like the bisexual. He goes, we only have a day, and he said like lesbians get a week or a month. Like they were fighting over like how much.
By Visibility Day, I was shocked to find out that we're not technically, we only get one day. I was like, well, the sad part is I don't even care, but
But it's a point in that argument that back when the guy who represented for the bisexual folks, I'm like, oh well, it just kind of was funny but true. So
yeah,
us straight white guys don't get any days.
I loved it.
Don't say that out loud.
By the way,
please don't say that out loud.
I already did. It's look, somebody's already gonna hate me for saying that in a joking
Corey
manner
said
anyway.
it with a very heavy sarcastic tone, y'all. Don't come at us.
Shit.
By the way,
Corey got canceled within 3 seconds of him thinking that
that's
sentence.
fine. Look, I don't care. By the way, I saw this show on Netflix the other day, and I actually think I'm going to watch it. It's Neil Patrick Harris's new like comedy show.
Uncoupled. That show is so funny.
Is it? I thought about watching it, and I think it's something my wife would be interested in, so I'm going to wait for her to watch it. But I was like, this looks kind of funny.
I would say this: the queerness that goes on that show is not going to be anything that makes like the average straight person cringe. I'll say that.
I mean, I don't really care about that. Like, you know what I mean?
I know people that
I'm not your average straight right guy, LeRon. How dare you categorize me?
Well, good. You know what? That's something which Actually, we probably need to give Corey a night off and have like an LGBTQ like night for After Dark.
A night
off
off.
Like that. Well, no, because like here's what I'm about to say. Like queer people, like we act like it's not that we act like it. We make our sex lives and our sexuality taboo to make sure that straight people aren't like pulled out of their comfort zone, which is crazy because any average day in the office, you're hearing the most vulgar stuff from straight people, stuff like that. But the moment you talk about your penis going in a hole that's not a vagina or something, people like lose their fucking minds. And it's like, wait, yours can go in a hole that's not a vagina either, and you don't have to be gay to do that.
Exactly. Or if it's a woman talking about going down on her female partner, all of a sudden it becomes like some porno fantasy.
A spectator event. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's honestly why I have an alt on Twitter. It is honestly why I have an alt on Twitter because like it got to a point where like I just couldn't freely like the stuff that I like, and I'm not even talking about pornographic shit, just something that's hinted at queerness and stuff like that. And, like having a random like straight friend clutching their pearls, like why would you like that, and stuff like that? Because we're not fucking Facebook where I can just moderate the content. Twitter needs to get with the fucking program.
Yeah.
I love Twitter. I actually love the fact that I can give zero fucks about who sees what. It's up to me. Like, oh, I want everybody that follows me to see this shit. And then sort of like, honestly, if it wasn't for the fact I got with Boss Rush, I probably would have never made an alt. But shit would have been raw and uncondensed.
I love it.
But like these guys invited me to Boss Rush, to be a content creator and stuff, and I was like, oh, you know what? There's kids out there. I mean, there's always kids out there, but now like
something real quick about kids and canceling.
Mm-hmm.
I was going over with Nikolai how the F word is bad. Don't say the F word, and he goes, "You're right." Well, he says, "You're right, Mom. We should cancel the F word." And I'm sitting there like, how in the hell does he know the term how to cancel something? It either had to be a coincidence or he's heard it somewhere else, because I'm not a big cancel person. So I'm just, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Cancel the F word. Okay.
You know what? I love the current generation of kids that are out there now because man, they are so they get it. They fucking get it, and I'm sitting there like, who the fuck are you talking to? As you understand all this stuff, first of all, because shit, like when we were kids, like we thought like this shit, our parents would immediately beat our asses.
Yeah, I think that might be it. The lack of ass beating. Not that no, I'm not promoting that.
Well, no, I'm just talking about like, hey, kids. Did you guys see the video? Did you guys see the video where like this black kid got accosted by undercover by a no uniform police officer. The guy thought he was stealing a bike or whatnot, and three of his friends came to the rescue. Like these three kids, probably under the age of 14, came and physically got this man up off of this black kid that he had down on the ground, his fucking knee in his back, and all this shit. And kids did this shit. I remember because I was watching it and I was like, man, like this is so amazing. But at the same time, if this was me at that age and stuff like that, the first thing that would be in my head is like if my parents say this, if the cops are doing something, you don't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So yeah, like kids just fucking get it, and stuff like that. Like I really wish, like us Gen Xers, the Gen Ys, the Gen Zs, and all that stuff. Like we kind of had that. I guess we were too afraid of our parents.
Maybe, or maybe there's something the government's now putting in the water. Who knows?
That's making them smart because they're no longer getting teenage pregnant. They're getting smarter though.
Oh, then it's definitely not the government then. They want to keep us stupid.
Wow.
Anyway,
you know what we need to do before we get any further in the weeds here? We need to talk about our Patreon producers.
We do.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you want to support Boss Rush After Dark and other shows on the Boss Rush Network, you can head on over to Patreon. Patreon.com/Boss Rush Network is a subscription service where you can support your favorite creators directly. For $1, you get early access to 4 separate shows here on the Boss Rush Network, but if you want to subscribe at the $5 tier, you get early access plus a Patreon producer credit on all of our podcasts. So without further ado, let's thank our Patreon producers. Adriel Munger, Celeste Roberts, my wife, Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. I want to thank all of our Patreon producers, all of our patrons, and all of our free listeners. Remember, if you're listening for free on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave us a 5-star rating or a nice review. It really helps with discoverability. So, yeah. Cool.
Glad you remembered.
Yeah, I forgot.
We were just talking.
Yeah. Oh, we got right into it. It was pretty natural, which is also nice.
Yeah.
It's been a good night for podcasting, though.
Yeah,
it has.
So, yeah.
Is there anything we want to or have to talk about tonight? Is there anything going on?
I mean, I know you guys have more important stuff to talk about if you wanted to talk about it than I do.
Hey, there's something that I want to lay down the groundwork here, and I do this too. So I'm not just pointing at you, Corey, but I think we're all conditioned to kind of draw comparisons. Like, I should not feel bad or talk about this because there's other more important or more serious things going on. Everyone is own experience and things that they want to talk about or is, I feel like, almost just as important. Just saying, I don't think there's anything we needed to talk about. Like, Corey, if you have something, we can. If not, we could technically have segued from our previous conversation and our constant referring to being petrified of our parents' generation. We can kind of talk about the trauma cycle with that, and I can share my experience, but I'm fine with whatever.
Lord, do I have trauma.
Yeah.
And the sad part is, like, I have trauma from my childhood and growing up with my parents and stuff, and I don't even think my parents did a bad job raising me. Is that also part of the trauma, though?
I mean, who knows? I mean, it's a very complex thing. I don't know if is this where we want to go, or Corey, do you want to talk about something else? Or
yeah, Corey, do you want to talk about something else?
No.
Sure.
All right.
Well, I struggle with this topic, especially now that I'm a parent, because I'm like, okay, how can I not traumatize my kid? But I feel like every parent, no matter how hard they try, somehow traumatizes their kids. But
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a better job because a lot of us in our generation and younger now actually believe in mental health and therapy. Um, but yeah, I guess we'll talk about the trauma cycle in parenting and, disclaimer, I love my parents and I'm sure most of us do, but it's just I feel like a lot of us still struggle with our relationships with our parents even through adulthood. Because I thought, man, parents only kind of get on our asses or do these things because we are children, right? And there's that light at the end of the tunnel I always had as a kid. Once I'm 18 or once I'm in my 20s, once I'm more independent, financially independent of them, our relationship will change. I do get jealous of people who now are friends with their parents as adults because now they're adults, so they can be friends with them. And I always dreamed of that day. The long and short of it is, again, Tiger Mom and my dad, even though he's Caucasian, just kind of obliges to what my mom says.
Hmm.
And typical old school boomer stuff. So they're very strict. I swear, as soon as like it was midnight on my birthday when I turned 13, they just decided to stop trusting me because I was a teenager. Like their behavior drastically changed, and they never trusted a thing I said, a thing I did. Um, ironically enough, I was not a trouble seeker, like never drank in high school, didn't take any drugs in high school, didn't want to get any trouble. I only started lying and sneaking things when they started just taking shit away and grounding me for no reason at
Yeah.
all.
It's
Like
like they made. It's like they turned you into that person.
yeah, and they were I'll admit, and they don't know this, like I would keep a knife under my bed because every night I would be very tempted to commit self-harm because I just really hated my
Jesus.
life. And they would always put me down, and I think the trouble with me is I was constantly being punished or berated for things that I just genuinely did not understand what I did wrong. And I think that's why I ended up hating myself a lot.
Mhm.
But to circle back, I thought, okay, well, once I'm an adult, they'll back off and we'll be friends. No, I mean, they backed off a little bit. And okay, I'm 33, I'm a full-grown adult, I own my own house, I pay my own mortgage, I have a child that I take after. Every couple months, my mom specifically will get triggered by something small and start berating me over things. And this is where I kind of reached out to you guys a little bit last week. And I'm going to give you guys all the abridged version. I don't want to take up the whole airtime, but I got my son's swim lesson off by a half hour because my parents were supposed to watch him on Friday. I said in one phone call, hey, I think his swim lesson is at 4. Could you take him there? And I even caveat, I said, I could be wrong. I'm in the car, I'm driving, but as soon as I can confirm the time, I'll let you know. So once I got a screenshot of my text to my ex-husband, it ended up being 4:30. When I corrected my time to my mom, apparently that triggered something, and she started, questioning, why did you say 4:30 when you said 4? This was all through text, so I'm like, I gotta call this woman. So
Wait, wait, wait. Oh, let me just make sure I got this right. So she got triggered because it's it it's the early time and he wasn't going to be late.
no, it was they were supposed to watch Nikolai Friday. I signed him up for a swim class,
Uh-huh.
and I verbally told them it's 4 o'clock, I think, but I'll let you know and confirm a little later.
Oh,
And it ended up being 4:30. This
okay.
conversation happened on a Thursday, so it was a 24-hour notice saying 4 o'clock, and then maybe an hour later I corrected it, says no, it's 4:30.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And this was me on my way to my boyfriend's parents' house. They invited me to have dinner with them. Like it was this big thing to have dinner with his parents. And my mom, I could tell by her tone in her text, like she was getting frustrated. So I called her. I excused myself from the table. I called her. She starts screaming at me for 15 minutes, 14 minutes and some change. I am a liar. Why did you lie that the swimming lesson was 4 and not 4:30? I'm like, hold on, what? Wait, why are you raising your voice over something like that? I don't know. I think she must be kind of losing it because she said that I swore up and down.
That's what I'm thinking too. Like, is she all there now?
No, like other than that, she's a very sharp person. She remembers shit that I don't remember. This is what like frightens me. Like I'm not sure what's going on. So that spirals to why are you meeting this guy's parents when you've only been dating a month? Who are you to them to meet them so quickly? So she got mad at that. And then because of me dating a new person, I am apparently also now selfish and I don't put my parents first anymore. And then now she's pulling up stuff from my past. Oh, well, you got pregnant before you got married. You got knocked up. You're a slut. You always need to be with a man all the time. Like hit after hit after blow after blow. And I'm trying to figure out where is this coming from?
Yeah.
It's just verbally berating me for those 15 minutes because I was just dumbfounded. And same thing happened the next day. She just started screaming at me and saying terrible things like she's ashamed of me. She's ashamed to talk about me to the family because I got quote unquote knocked up by at that time, he's my ex-husband, but I was with him for 3 years. I don't think when you're with someone for 3 years to get pregnant is necessarily a knocked up situation. It is a whoopsie. But anyway, knocked up and divorced. So I'm ashamed to the family. She's ashamed of me. Yeah, a liar, a slut, a loser. My house is a mess. I'm a slob. I forgot what else. I probably told you all that stuff through text, but through a certain period of my time, I could let that go in one ear and out the other because you'd think I'd be used to it all this time. But I actually got triggered myself, and I had anxiety for like 3 days afterwards. I had anxiety that she might show up at my house and start screaming at me. I was having anxiety about when I'd hear from her next. Like I was actually genuinely afraid because she's like a rabid animal that once they latch on you, they don't stop. And various people have said, why haven't you hung up on her? I'm like, listen, I did that once because I thought that was a good idea. It's worse because if I hang up, she will call back repeatedly like that psycho ex. She'll keep calling and calling and calling and leave nasty voicemails and nasty text messages. So I'm like, do I want to just let her rant for 15 minutes and hang up and get it over with, or hang up prematurely but then constantly get constant harassment for the next week?
Yeah.
So there I am now, and she's not talking to me. I don't expect her to talk to me for an extended period of time. In fact, she dropped off my son's stuff that was at her house because it was at her house. She just dropped it off without even saying hi to my son, saying hi to me. She just left it at the front doorstep. Again, like a crazy ex.
You know what? Okay, that right there, I'd have to be like, you know what? If it's gonna be like that, keep that fucking energy. Yeah, because I've always said this, and I'm a person that doesn't even have kids. I've always said, like, I don't care what I've fucking done to you. You don't go by way of my kids to get to me. You don't do that. I feel like that's some absolute bullshit. And I don't care if this is a parental thing or whatnot and stuff like that. Have the fucking decency and the respect. If you have a problem with me, my child has nothing to do with your problem, unless my child is your problem. And at that point, if my child is your problem, then you let me know my child is your problem. And guess what? I will make sure that gets removed from the equation, and stuff like that.
Oh, thanks for reminding me. I think this was I forgot the most important thing. Like all that stuff hurts, but the thing that hurts the most, and I take offense to the most, is that she stated, my son is a burden. A burden. My son is a burden.
A burden on who? Her or you?
Technically me, but she really means her because everything comes back to her.
Every child's a burden. Every child's a burden, and
yep. And she said,
it sounds like you have a very selfish mom. I don't know. I can't speak for your dad because it sounds like your dad tries to keep out of it.
everything goes back to her. And she said, Stephanie, you should have given up full custody of your child. And I'm like, hell no. That's the most messed up thing that I've ever heard in my life. Well, yeah, everything ends up being about her because she goes, I did everything right as a parent. How did I end up with a daughter like that? Or
is your mother an immigrant or
yes, she was
okay,
born in Taiwan, and she is
that's one part of it. Okay, that's one part of it right there. Okay.
Yeah, so like I don't want to make this whole conversation about me, but like I hope this reaches people who are first generation immigrants, because I guess I'm considered first generation, right? American.
Yeah, well, you were born in the States, right?
I was born in the States, but my mom was not, so I'd say I'm
you're
first
first
generation.
gen. Yeah, you're first gen. Yeah.
So I hope this reaches people who are first gen immigrants, and even if they're American parents, like people who have parents that for some reason have this cycle where they feel like they always need to be in control even though you're an adult. I guess that was like my topic and me sharing.
I like how you said that because I had to retrain my mom to like understand that the parent-child relationship has evolved now that I'm an actual adult, and it's even to the point where like, I'm an adult who has never. There was a time when I thought I was going to move back home because shit got real for me, like after I lost my job at GameStop a while back, and stuff like that. And there was a time when it looked like I was gonna have to move back home with my mom and stuff like that. But I basically had to start teaching my mom that, the parent-child relationship has evolved because like your child is now an adult and your child lives their own life. They live their own life that's not directly connected to you anymore and stuff like that. And I think a lot of parents need to understand that, I told myself, like, if I was going to school, like, if I'd gone to college, I probably would have wound up going into law or wound up going into psychiatry and stuff like that. Because the way the human mind works has always been fascinating for me and stuff like that. Hell, there's still some days it's like, I'll rack up some college debt to get a degree in psychiatry and whatnot and stuff like that. Because the human mind is just interesting to me and stuff like that. And I also feel like I have a capacity for listening to people and stuff like that, even though I do interrupt people a lot. I have a capacity for listening to people, and one of the things I understand about like a lot of people's problems is like a lot of people's problems don't always stem from them. It usually stems from an outside source or things like that. And so going back to this whole parent-child relationship thing, like sometimes no parent's going to get it right. No parent gets it right at all. Like, because people still writing textbooks on how to raise kids. People still writing textbooks on how to be a parent and stuff like that. There's no perfect thing because like everybody has their own personality, everybody has their own disposition, things like that and stuff like that. But the one thing I do know is that parents need to understand. And I say this as a black kid who's heard, I brought you into this world, I can take you out. Guess what? If I had the fucking balls to say something back when you said that, the first thing I would have said is, I did not ask to be here. I'm your responsibility by proxy, stuff like that. And parents need to realize that we were not inside their fucking ovaries or their ball sack begging to jump out. We were not, no, like that's not how it works. So don't, you had to give us a name, we didn't come out with our fucking names, and stuff like that. And parents don't always understand that. Parents also think children are their property, which that's wildly toxic. That's wildly toxic. We're not property, even though, like you get a tax write-off from us every fucking year, as long as we're your dependent and stuff like that, we're not your property, stuff like that, and there's a lot of parents that, I understand, like it's something that's been taught to people over the generations and stuff, like I said, there's no textbook way for raising kids and stuff like that. But what people need to understand, especially parents, is that we have our own personalities. And sometimes our personalities evolve the moment we move out the house and get away from you. And this is where the sticking point goes for that. I think a lot of parents need to realize is that whatever example you set for us when we were your child, we can make our own decision about how we're going to deal with you once we move out of your house and become our own individual at that point and things like that. And so in the case of your mom, like I was kind of like, on board, well, not on board, but I was kind of, accepting, or, like, I was flexible, until the whole thing about her dropping off Nick's stuff. That part right there, I was like, you're punishing my child to get to me at that point. That's the point where, like, me, if I was the person in that situation, I'd have been like, we're about to have words. And, I don't care if you're my mom. I would love you and respect you and all this stuff, but at the same time, I'm starting to lose respect for you, and you need to know this, because, like, when you turn around and you start realizing I'm no longer calling you, I'm no longer coming by your house, I'm no longer dropping off birthday cards, inviting you to dinner, all that stuff. You need to understand why we got to this point, because, like, this is toxic, and I was able to deal with the toxicity, and I'm speaking like I'm you, Stephanie. Like, this is toxic, and I'm able to deal with this, but my 6-year-old son cannot deal with this. He doesn't understand. He doesn't understand. And I don't want to have the conversation with him that, we can't go see your grandma right now because, like, your grandma's mad at me and won't talk to me. That doesn't fly, And
Yeah.
kids don't need to be put in that situation. But, but by extension, though, when we're the kids growing up in our parents' houses and stuff, we're also not supposed to be put into that situation and stuff like that. That's unhealthy. And then parents don't understand why kids are running away, or kids are doing crazy shit, or kids are putting themselves in situations where they're getting raped or taken advantage of, or wind up getting child trafficked and stuff like that. Parents don't understand that, like, there's an influence that's not the person that's doing the bad shit to them. No, like, that doesn't start there. It doesn't start there. Oh,
Can I just lay,
sorry.
like, no,
Yeah,
it's,
go ahead.
I appreciate your insight. I'm gonna lay, like,
out of the room. I'm sorry.
no, one thing to kind of, anyway, remember how when we first started After Dark, one of the heavy topics I brought was my assault. We were talking about assault.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you recall then, I actually was in a position where the DA was willing to, like, accept my case, which is a big deal. The only reason why I did not pursue it was because of my parents, and I was terrified out of my wits of the court reaching out to my parents, because I know how my parents are, and my mom will make it about her, and my life will be a living hell.
Mm.
If it wasn't for that, and that alone, I would have pursued it.
Mhm. That's crazy.
Corey,
That's-
I feel bad. Both of us are just kind of like, I don't know if you want to talk. You're shaking your head, so I just don't
No,
want to put you on
I'm just. That's sad. I was just agreeing with LeRon. I was just. I don't know. It makes me
Alright,
feel
sorry.
bad.
Well,
Like,
It's it I think, everybody's selfish to an extent. Like, there's parts of ourselves that we don't want to give over completely to anybody, whether it's our spouse, our children, things like that. And I think parents don't realize that their selfishness really hurts the people that we can be. So like that, just like the whole thing of you going to college and stuff, Stephanie, like going to the college you want to versus like what your parents, that was selfishness on your mom's part, like, it's one of those things where it's like, like, this is what they want you to do. Just like my parents flipped out, like when they found out I was not going to college. I planned to join the military. My parents flipped out about that. But, at the end of the day, like, I was able to convince them. I was like, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And I also told them, like, hey, I'm tired of going to school. Like, yeah, I've been getting straight A's for like the last 12 fucking years doing this shit. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired, like, it's a job, like, like doing this stuff, and I don't want to continue doing that stuff.
Yeah, LeRon, did you feel a little burnt out in a sense of always feeling like you have to achieve those straight A's, for example?
Yeah, but at the same time, what, I was a knucklehead for a little while too, because, like, I'm an Army brat, so I did a lot of moving around and stuff. Sometimes I'd wind up at schools where, like, they're they're behind on stuff that I just learned from a previous school and stuff like that. So I got lazy. It was, like I got tired of like I tell the story a lot and people think I'm fucking they think I'm a psychopath. There's a reason why there's a reason why I am not. I just never went on my way to watch like the Lord of the Rings movies and stuff like that. It's because I didn't read the books, and it's because for 2-3 years I think straight up, like because there was a time where I went to 6 different high schools, and, in the 4-year curriculum that is high school and stuff like that. But from the 6th through the 8th grade, every school I landed at was the year to read The Hobbit, and I never forget. Like the last school I went to where it was the whole thing for The Hobbit. I managed to find my old book report for The Hobbit, and I turned that shit in. And my teacher was mad because number one, my teacher was like, "Did you even read it?" Because I turned it in. I turned it in when the window of availability was open to turn in your book report and stuff like that. My teacher was pissed at me. They immediately went to talk to my parents. They're like, "You're automatically getting an F. Show us to your parents. Have them sign it, and I want to have a conference and all this stuff." My parents were like, "What the hell's going on?" And all this stuff. They were mad at me, thinking I plagiarized, and I was like, "I didn't plagiarize nothing. I've read this book 3 times. I've read this book 3 times. I've watched the shitty ass fucking cartoon. Like I know this shit.
It's like, why do I have to recreate the wheel? I already done it.
Yeah. So like when my parents realized that I was being serious as a fucking heart attack about this thing, they did go up and talk to the teacher and like, listen, you're a teacher in a military town. We're a military family. We move around a lot. When my son says that he has read The Hobbit already, you need to believe him. So like that. And so when I found out that The Hobbit was a prequel to Lord of the Rings, I never read those fucking books. And everybody's like, you've never seen those movies? I'm sitting here like, Peter Jackson's not that great of a fucking director. First of all, I did like his movie The Frighteners. I didn't like that movie, but still, so yeah. But yeah, like basically, yeah, busting my ass and stuff in school, like doing the straight A's and stuff. Like, yeah, like it took a toll on me. I was an AP, and I also had a whole bunch. I also had a whole bunch of electives and stuff like that. I was doing extracurricular stuff, that I didn't even have to because I wasn't playing sports. So I was doing other stuff. I was on band. I was in ROTC. I was doing all this stuff. And I was just tired of college. I was just tired of the school grind, and like. My dad was a career soldier, and I wanted to be like my dad. So when that time of senior year was coming up, where SATs and all that stuff was happening, stuff like that, I remember like telling my parents that, hey, the SATs are coming up. This is how much it costs for me to get onto it and take the test. They gave me a check. When I decided that I was going to join the military, I never gave the check to the school to get my stuff together to get the SAT ordered for me and stuff like that. So when I turn around and start telling my parents that I'm not going to college, and I didn't take the SAT, they lost their minds. Well, what'd you do with our money? I gave them their check back. Like, what? They're like, you never turned it in? I was like, no, I realized I wasn't going to college, and the SAT is needed for college. Why? If I knew I wasn't going to college, why would I waste the money? Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, but situations like that, like I just everything you said tonight, man, it's almost triggered me because it's like, God, like, like at my age right now, I'm so over the bullshit, especially what family does to me, that I know for sure, like what you just said about your mom, I would have already cursed her the living fuck out. And then I'd have been like, you know what? If we want to do this, if you want to sit there and try and like hold my child hostage from my attention, you're going to lose because you don't have to see your grandson anymore after this point.
Yeah, I need to be a bit strategic about it. And I also want to put a disclaimer since I've gotten to this point. I only have a certain amount of time and a certain amount of information like to put on this podcast. So obviously like a lot is like happen and transpire. So heaven forbid my parents ever hear this, which I doubt, but like there's a full story. Like I'm not trying to like paint a certain picture of them. Obviously, like I can only tell what I can. So
I don't think your parents are bad, parents.
No, and
Like
I'm not
you've
saying
not you've not told me anything that sounds like you were abused by your parents or whatnot. But I do believe, and I say this because like every parent like puts a pattern of trauma on their child. Sometimes it's a pattern of trauma on their child based off of traumas that they had. Like, like my mom was definitely afraid like I was going to get hurt, so like I was never allowed to join like football or anything physical and stuff like that, which explains why I'm a big fucking pansy ass wuss. Like the moment something hurts me, I can't deal with it. Stuff like that, or other things, like sometimes our parents perpetrate stuff on us that was perpetrated on them by their parents, or their grandparents and stuff like that. Sometimes that's a reality, like not everybody has the mental, number one, not everybody has the mental capability of saying, hey, I think what I'm doing is bad for my child. I need to fix it. Not many people have that, but also not many people know that they can get help to like get things done so it's not that way. There's a problem if your kid walks in the door and they're scared to talk to you about how their day at school is, even if it was the best fucking day at school ever, stuff like that. Like, and parents need to be able to see that, why is my kid not talking to me? Is something going on in school or something going on here in the house? Parents don't see that. I think a lot of parents see their kids as like just another burden or responsibility, and it's just another thing they have to suffer through until that kid's miraculously out of the house sometimes, and stuff like that.
I think that's a big part of it. I think honestly, my mom, and she's told me, so I know, I'm not guessing. She never wanted to have kids. I think she kind of like, in a sense, had to have me because she got married and the pressure of having a kid, and my dad always wanted at least one kid. So I don't think my mom ever wanted to have kids.
That's the start of it right there.
And she's told me several times that. And when she's extra mad, she says she wish I was never born. That's always fun to hear. Several times she's told me that. And then, considering now that I have a grandkid, she doesn't want that either. So even though like the majority of grandparents, they love grandkids.
They love their grandchildren.
Grandkids.
Yeah,
my mom,
they give more of a fuck about the grandchild than do about the child they raised.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure she loves him in her own messed up way, but she has repeatedly proven that Nikolai's a burden to her. Like, unless it's work related, she will bitch and complain about driving within the same town to go watch Nikolai for a couple hours. And so that's why I already kind of have this thing where like she's already kind of has this idea of burden. She's attached a burden to my son, and I really resent that.
Yeah,
I love my parents. But I resent that.
I would wholly resent it as well. Like, yeah, that's true.
Because I get it. Like, I brought Nikolai into this world. He did not ask to be here. So I'm going to love on him all that I can. I will never make him feel like he's never wanted. I will be a strict mom. I'm a strict mom. But as far as like love and feeling wanted, like I'm never going to make him feel like he shouldn't belong here in any capacity. The end. That wasn't me trying to like make myself sound cool, because again, I know I'm gonna
no.
But
I think a lot of people who were children, realize that they it's not that they don't want to be the same type of parent their parent was, but they want to be a better parent than what their parent was, and I'm saying, even like shit, your parents get fucking Huxtables, and there's still something about your parents that you want to do differently from what they did, stuff like that, like these picture perfect, like the Tanners or what the Huxtables, the Tanners, all these families and stuff that we saw that were like very picturesque, like apple pie, like the Eye of America and all that stuff. We see these, like shit, even the Connors, as dysfunctional as they were a decent family, but I guarantee you, every kid walked away from there saying, I want to be different, or I want to be a better parent than what my parents were, because there's something, like I remember when I was a kid and stuff, like nobody's parent gets it. Nobody's parent is right 100% of the time. And there's been times that, like my mom or dad said something to me. I'm like, no, that's wrong. And, but heaven forbid, like I opened my mouth to try to correct them. Then I was the fucking show out, or the fucking hard-headed kid. And I need to get my ass beat at that point, stuff like that. And, then I'm sitting up here like, like I have to have a joke with my mom, as an adult now. I was like, hey, remember that time when you said this, and I was, and you know, I got in trouble because I corrected you and all this stuff. And first time I was like, you remember that? I'm like, of course I remember that. That was a hard time for me in my life. Of course I remember that. Oh man.
Corey, like you're a parent. Is there anything that you kind of are taking maybe from your own personal experience on how you want to, apply the way you parent your two children?
I mean, there are definitely things I say that I don't want to do, and then like I'll turn around and find myself doing it.
Doing it, yeah.
And
it's yeah, it's
It's
ingrained
hard.
in your nature.
yeah, and I definitely find that like I'm parenting more like my parents did than I want to or realize that I am, and so like I try to keep that cognizant, but it's in the moment, and just like when you're in the moment, like I don't know, when my when my daughter's coloring on the walls with crayons or whatever, like it's hard not to like instantly get mad. And I'm terrible at instantly getting mad and just like yelling, but like I'm trying to do better at that kind of thing, uh especially because like I know a lot of it is because of my son, and she's just like jealous and like wants attention and doesn't know how to get it other than acting out, at this stage. And so when I'm home, I try to give her attention because my son is, always like trying to like he still needs to nap, so my wife will take him to nap, or like he still needs to be fed, like, so I mean, he doesn't like he feeds himself, but like he still sits in the high chair to eat, and we have to pick him up and put him in there. So like it's little things like that where my daughter doesn't really get the attention like that anymore because she's older and is, for all intents and purposes, self-sufficient. She can feed, just feed herself, goes to the potty by herself, all that kind of thing. And so I just try to recognize that and try to give her different types of attention.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she really wants it from my wife, which, we've kind of swapped roles recently where like I'm giving attention to my son and my like when he needs it, so my wife can spend time with my daughter, so she hasn't been as bad. But like it's still, you just try to do what you think is best, and sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. And spoilers, parents don't really know everything, even though
no.
They swear up and down they do.
And so I do try to do all that kind of stuff and pay attention, but it's hard. It's hard, especially when like, I don't know, they dump their food on the floor because they want attention and then they think it's funny, or color on the couch, or, wipe peanut butter on the TV.
Oh my gosh.
That's the other interesting thing. That's another reason why I want to go into like, I thought about going into psychiatry and stuff like that. Because I've had to tell friends, like friends who are having kids now, like, like, hey, like you need to sit down when you start noticing when kids get out of the toddler phase, like you start noticing that they don't act. If you look at the most basic thing about how they act, they're not acting like kids. They're acting like little adults.
Mm-hmm.
They are, like they're starting to figure out logic and reason and all this stuff, things like that, and I told a lot of friends who, are having kids, I was like, when you start paying attention to that, it makes having conversations easier with your kids, like when you have to train them about why this is wrong or why this is right and things like that, because you start to understand that they have the same comprehension level as you do. It just needs to be a little more simplified and stuff like that, That's why I love kid logic. Like I love seeing kids like, just come like deduce things on their own and stuff, it's crazy and stuff like that. And I try to, and also like as a person that used to be a child, I also realized that, like my parents didn't quite understand me when I was younger, but also they didn't try to understand me. They just tried to raise me, in a fashion that they thought would work, you know. And sometimes that fashion would be, don't embarrass me in front of other adults. Sometimes that fashion would be, you know, like sit down and be well behaved, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes that fashion was make sure you eat all your food off your plate.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And you know, it's kind of like, also there's other things where, I mean, not just like disciplinary things, but like my daughter is like stuttering a lot right now, and it's kind of normal still at this age to like, because she's still trying to find her words and figure out what she's trying to say. And my wife's friend is a child speech pathologist. I don't know if that's the right word or not, but like, you know, she said it's normal, and like if she starts to become like at like 5 or 6, if it's still going on, then maybe we should get it checked out. But like, you have to be cognizant of them not, you know, because they don't think they're doing anything wrong, and they don't realize they're being slow and holding things up, and they're just trying to find their words and stuff. And you gotta be careful and be like, hurry up, what do you know, don't speak for them, don't try to guess what they're saying, just let them get it out. You know, it's stuff like that that's like, I'm really trying hard to be better about a lot of all that stuff too.
Well, I think it's very admirable that you at least are mindful of these things, because I think that's one thing our generation is understanding. Because even if we can fall into our parents' habits, because that's natural. Like I frequently find myself behaving like my mom in a sense where I like lack patience. But at least I talk to my therapist, I talk to my friends, like, oh, I acknowledge that sometimes I'm more short fused than I should be. Oh wow, like I'm gonna work on it. At least I'm not in denial. So, and it doesn't seem like you guys are. So it's
Yeah.
first step.
Plus, it's like, I'm trying to also like, it's also really hard to separate. Like, what if you have a bad day and you come home and like kids are being bad, and then it just doubles up the like yelling or whatever, because like, and you don't mean to, it just happens.
Yeah.
And then you kind of go back and realize, feel bad and all that kind of stuff, you know. It's parenting is hard, everybody.
It really
It's
is.
tough to
Yes, it
balance,
is.
you know. And
And
I
who
don't
knows,
even
go ahead, sorry, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, I don't even do most of it. You know, my wife does most of it. So like, it's, you know, because I mean, if I'm going to work and she works from home, she's with the kids all day, you know, and sees a lot of it that I don't too. You
God.
know,
Corey's gonna wind up on that site of like no good men because he's never taking care of shit at home.
should I take my headshot right now?
Corey's gonna be another dad on the ain't shit like fucking bulletin board.
Maybe, you don't know.
Oh boy.
I hope not, but
You know, here's my advice for people who are I have advice for people who are one, dealing with situations like this with their parents or even loved ones, you know, people who helped raise them and stuff, because sometimes your parents aren't the ones that raise you. Sometimes your grandparents raise you, or sometimes aunt or uncle raised you, or you know, or shit, sometimes you're in an unnuclear family where, you know, like another sibling raised you and stuff like that. Even though I think most time, like people who their older brother or sister took over their upbringing, you know, because of a situation and stuff like that, I think they wind up being a little more well balanced than others, you know, because like you have someone that's actually closer to being a child than your parents were, you know, so sometimes that helps out. But here's a piece of advice I give you guys. Like, start realizing where your boundaries are with your parents. And I mean, like, you know, like, number one, you set the boundaries up, just like how you wouldn't give like some random asshole, like, you know, like you know, like permission to invade your space, like, or in the same regards you said that that you put a boyfriend or a girlfriend through, like, don't be afraid to do that with your parents. Like, if you don't want them to have full accessibility to you, once you're an adult, it's on you, like, it's on you, and they have to respect that. um Set your boundaries, but like, clear out the line so that your parents know about this too. Like, hey, like, I'm an adult now. Here's how I like to handle things in my life and stuff like that. I would really appreciate it if you could actually, like, either work with me on that or just stay the hell out of my way.
Right. And I feel like many of us struggle with being raised, and we might still believe it is respect your parents, right? And I used to think that setting boundaries would be disrespecting your parents, but no, I feel like you can still have a respect towards your parents, but at the same time set boundaries.
Yeah. Now then, my advice is for people who are having kids on their own right now. And actually, it's two pieces of advice. Number one, try to understand where your kids are coming from. It doesn't matter if they're 2 weeks old or if they're 16 years old. Try to understand where your kids are coming from and stuff like that. Like, a lot of times kids will really easily like throw up a wall or a barrier to you if they feel like you don't understand them, or you are not trying to understand them and stuff like that. Try to always figure out where your kids are coming from. Sometimes the easiest thing you can do, like if you think your kids are hiding something from you, the crazy part is like, if you ask them a question, 9 times out of 10 they volunteer the information. You just gotta find a proper way to ask the question. Don't be like, hey, are you doing drugs? Don't, or hey, are you gay? Don't pose the question as an attack. Be like, hey, is there anything going on with you? Like, is there something you might want to talk to me about and stuff like that?
Open-ended questions, basically.
Yeah.
It's a difference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The other piece of advice about that is, the moment you start realizing that, like, your child is basically another human being that has thoughts, ideals, opinions, logic, all on their own and stuff, you immediately start understanding, like, how that person works and stuff like that. Just like how you had to cultivate the relationship with your spouse to realize how they work and stuff. It's the same thing with your children, because guess what? They don't come out acting exactly like you. Yeah, they might have some of your mannerisms and stuff, but they don't come out acting exactly like you. If they did that, like, we'd have clones everywhere of ourselves.
Exactly.
That's
well
all
said, LeRon.
That's all I can say. Like I said, maybe I should take out some student loans. Even though Biden's already giving out all the money, maybe I should take out some student loans and go to school and get a minor in psychiatry. I mean, shit. Maybe that's something I can do. Like, shit. Maybe my boyfriend won't be the only other doctor in the relationship.
You should be a life coach.
That's not a bad idea either. I feel like I still need some college. I don't know.
No.
Well, one thing's for sure. I pissed away my fucking GI Bill. I can't use.
Why would you do that? Ugh.
I didn't know it was a use it or lose it thing. I'm sitting here thinking, like, I did 6 years in the military. I can use it whenever the fuck I want. Not according to Uncle Sam.
No comment. Yuck.
Uncle Sam.
Anyway, thank you. That was a good, even though it was a serious topic, I felt it was a very heartfelt, and I feel like everyone can kind of take away from it, something. Everyone has a different experience, but it's an experience.
I'll send you my bill.
Okay.
I love you.
Can I use my HSA card?
I mean, will it give me
cash only?
I mean, will it give me one round at the buffet table at Golden Corral?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There we go.
Okay. Okay. We're
Corey's like, we're starting to talk about shitty food now. It's time to wrap up.
To be fair, I used to like Golden Corral a lot because I could get a steak and a taco.
I used to love Golden Corral too, and then I started realizing I don't love myself.
Yeah, that also was a thing.
Oh, now I want and tacos. You guys, stop.
Oh my gosh, wouldn't a taco sound amazing right now? Oh my gosh.
I said this before, like we were recording after dark, my I'm on the hook now to buy to do pay for dinner on Friday night because I made the mistake. I forgot my boyfriend loves Italian food and stuff like that. So he texted me. It's almost like he knew I was cooking or something because he texted me when he was on his way home from work, and we don't live together yet, thank God.
Thank God, he says.
No,
I'm sure that's something he would love to hear, LeRon. Please say it louder.
Because I'd have to put up with that corn TikTok song. No, I'm not ready for that yet. But yeah. So he texted me and he was like, "Hey, what you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm making dinner." And I'm like, "What you doing?" And he's like, I just left work. I'm gonna head back to the apartment and I'm thinking about going to the swimming pool for a little bit." And then next question was, "What you making?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm making that shrimp pasta."
LeRon.
Yeah. Like I said, like he loves Italian food. He loves Italian food. So yeah. So the text kind of got cold for a little bit, and then and then later I get a text saying, "Hey, like Friday night we're doing pizza and you're buying."
Fair enough.
I want pizza now too.
I think the war has started now. I think it started. I'm not sure if I fired the first shot or if he did it, but I think we're engaged now.
Just get a really nice pizza, like a fancy.
We have a place. We have a place that it kind of became like a Friday night thing for us when we're actually in the mood for it. We have a place, and given that the reason why I know for sure he said it's on me is because I'm the person that lives closer to the place now since he moved across town. Like I live closer to that place, so like I buy and I'm the delivery guy too. So yeah, because he literally used to live like in the apartment building like that was like less than like 90 paces away from the place. Yeah. So yeah, there's that, but I saw Captain Pike making it in Star Trek one day, and I was like, oh, he makes that and it sounds so good. I want to make it. So I looked at the recipe for it and I was like, oh, this is easy, and I can just add any protein to it. So I decided to do shrimp, and yeah, the first night I did as a tester. And I'm starting to feel like every time I make this now, he knows I'm making it, because I remember the first night I made it, like he texted me when I was making it. He's like, "Hey, what?" Because it was one of those things. It was Sunday night, and he was like, "Hey," he was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I just got through making something that I saw like Captain Pike on Star Trek making." He's like, "Oh, what do you cook?" I was like, "This thing called pasta mama." And he was like, "Pasta mama, what is that?" I'm like, it's basically you take any type of pasta noodle and stuff like that, and you just do a bunch of garlic and herbs, and if you're in the mood, add chicken. And oh, by the way, the sauce is basically like egg and Parmesan cheese. So that's the actual base for it and stuff like that. That's the binder basically. And and he was like, "Oh, you didn't invite me." I'm like, "This is the first time I'm making it. I don't want to make something and it doesn't turn out right and stuff like that." He's like, "Okay, well, let me know how it is." And I will admit, I was the asshole because like I made it. I made myself a bowl of it. I started eating it and I was like, "Oh my God, this is good." And so I was in a text. I was like, "Babe, this shit is amazing." All this stuff. And he sent me all the fucking annoyed emojis at that point now, and I was like, "Don't worry, I'm going to make it again, and I will let you know so you can be ready and stuff like that." So I made it, and he's like, "Hey, this is very good." And he's like, "This is," and you got this idea just from watching something on television. And I was like, "Yeah." And so now it's the fourth time I've made it, and he has not had it.
Well, I can understand his frustration.
He loves pasta though.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it right now. I'm like, man, I'm full.
I'm salivating, but
Well, I tell you what, if we ever all hang out someplace, and we have we have like one of those places that has like a kitchen, a kitchen facility or whatnot, I'll make it for you guys.
Okay.
You guys might meet my boyfriend at that time too, because I feel like if I make it for somebody else and he's not had it again.
That's fair. That's fair. But we have it on recording now.
Yeah.
Ron's promise.
Well, I like to cook. I like to cook. I like to host people.
Hey. Looking forward to it.
Yep. Well, everyone, that's our show for tonight. I'm sorry if it seems like I took up all the space, because I felt like I had a lot to say about things tonight, and so I just want to apologize to you guys if I got a little too overbearing. I sorry, but I sometimes when I feel that people are being done wrong, I always have to say something. That's just the way I am.
I appreciate it. Means you're engaged.
Yeah, my mom swears it's going to get me in trouble, but I'm like, you know what? I'd rather be getting in trouble for doing the right thing than getting in trouble for doing something that's fucked up.
Or not doing something or saying something when you should.
Yep, exactly. There's something flying around in my room, and I'm going to have to kill it before I go to bed tonight.
Well, might as well let LeRon go kill that bug. Say goodnight.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we head out, here's how you can get connected with us. Stephanie, go first.
Friends, you can find me on the internet at Klimov_author. That's Twitter and Instagram. Sorry. And my article's on bossrush.net, and you'll hear me live Wednesday nights on the Boss Rush podcast.
All right, Corey.
You can find me at I am Corey HC on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me on the Boss Rush podcast, on Nintendo Power Block, and various other things here on the Boss Rush Network.
All right. And as always, you can find me on social media by looking me up at Exodus 803. That's also my YouTube and Twitch channels, and also my PlayStation Network and Steam ID code. And there you go. Tuesday nights, don't forget, youtube.com/Exodus 803 for the Crossroads podcast. The reason why I'm talking so fast is because I see it, and I'm going to nail it as soon as we cut the show. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us tonight and tuning into another wonderful episode of Boss Rush After Dark, which is, as you all know, it is the alternative show for the flagship podcast show for Boss Rush Network, where we talk about all things that are not content appropriate for our flagship shows. We love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Remember, you control the amount of toxicity that happens in your life. Just remember that you are always bigger than the shit that happens to you. And I don't care if it's a problem that you're dealing with a spouse or loved one, or if it's mental issues that you got going on yourself. You are always bigger than your problems, and you have control over it.
We love you.
Love you guys. Have a good night.
LeRon's got to kill this bug.
Yeah, kill the bug.
There he goes. No, just real quick. So why is it a good thing that you and your boyfriend don't live together yet? Oh, if it's private, don't.
No. It's no. It's a TikTok thing.
No. Of course, it's TikTok.
Have you guys seen, stumbled on, or heard about Corn Talk?
No.
No, but it sounds terrible.
Well, it's not terrible at all. Actually, it's pretty wholesome. But the problem is that it's just like it's this beast that's grown. It's this beast that's grown 7 heads now. Okay, so basically, somebody caught this little black kid at like a city fair or something like that, and he was just eating an ear of corn on the cob and stuff like that. And so they interviewed him, and so he was talking about like it's corn, it's his favorite thing to eat and all this stuff. They turned around and made it into a song, and so now it's like the biggest meme on TikTok and all this stuff. And it was funny because what night was it? What night was it? Rafi and I were on the couch. Actually, no, we weren't even on the couch. We were texting Thursday, yeah, because this was a day or two before the situation with my friend happened, and he was like, we were talking about something, or we were texting about something, and he says, have you heard of corn talk? And I'm like, corn talk? What is that? I'm sitting there thinking corn talk is, like code on TikTok is corn and star for porn star. So I'm sitting there like, what's my boyfriend doing right now on TikTok? It's like that. So he's like, "What? You don't know about corn talk?" And I'm sitting there like, "Babe, I'm 12 years older than you. Like some of this stuff is like definitely going to go right past me." so he sends me a link, and it's a link to one of the memes, and it's not the link of the actual kid video, right? And I'm sitting there like, "Okay, I don't get it." And he's like, "Oh, it's probably because you don't know the original." So he shows me the original, and I was like, "Oh my God, y'all are teasing that poor little kid," and stuff like that. And he's like, "No, you don't understand. It's the most it's become a phenomenon. It's like it's uplifting and all stuff." I'm sitting there thinking, y'all are teasing a little kid. That's all I'm thinking about. And so when he sends me a thing saying, "Aren't you glad we don't live together?" It's literally a guy like he's just trying to live his life while his boyfriend's in the house with him, and in the background his boyfriend is singing that corn song, and it's like, oh my God. I'm like, I would tie you up and stuff a sock in your mouth and throw you in the fucking closet if you start doing that shit.
I'm so glad I live outside the TikTok universe. I welcome your links, LeRon, but I'm glad I'm not actively in it.
Yeah, the only TikToks I watch are the ones that LeRon sends us.
TikTok for me is just a distraction, but I don't really subscribe into it that deeply either. I mean, besides I don't know, according to my algorithm, I'm subscribed to it pretty well, but
Oh man, that's funny.
Do y'all hear that clicking sound every so often?
Yeah, but it doesn't come through on the audio.
Okay. What is that?
I don't know. It's some sort of weird Skype tick. Like it comes through tonight. I've heard it. I think I've heard it like twice tonight already.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad somebody else is hearing it, because I was starting to say, you know what? I know I'm close to 50, but I know it's too soon to be senile.
Yeah. No, it comes through. I hear it in my headphones, but like looking at the audio gauges, it does not come through. So.
Oh, don't update OBS.
I haven't updated OBS in like probably 6 months.
This is why you're probably having issues with OBS, because you need to at least be on 27.
Speaking of LeRon, I know that I'm a Mac person and you're not, but is there, and I know that the answer to this is probably yes, I just don't know how to do it. Is there a way to format an external hard drive as your main hard drive?
Wait.
Like,
so
I have this
external hard.
I have this SSD
that
I would like to make my primary hard drive on this desktop because the hard drive is too small.
There is a way to do it, but it's easier just to have an internal hard drive. Can you break that bad boy open? And
I'm not taking the screen off, because you have to take the screen off and it's really hard to do.
Oh, the Mac?
Yeah.
No, I meant the SSD.
Oh.
Yeah, that's just an enclosure. Like, I would not be surprised if it's like got an NVMe drive in there.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I just
like the smaller version of one of these. Like, because if Stephanie had like the medium or the beefy Steam Deck, that's what's inside one of those.
Yeah, I just want to make this like a primary hard drive, to where like when I'm processing videos, it goes straight to this one instead of my desktop hard drive.
Wait, so do you want to be able to boot off of the external, or that too?
No, I want. Okay, maybe I worded it wrong. I want my computer to boot off the drive that's inside. I just want everything I save or do to go to this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. You just format the drive and just make sure it's a readable partition. I think Mac is like FAT32. Yeah.
I don't know. We can talk about it later. I just was wondering if that was a thing.
Yeah, that's possible. I thought you were talking about like actually putting the operating system on. I was like, oh,
No, I don't. I wouldn't do that. I would do the smart thing because like, so we'll get into it later. We're wasting time. I'm sorry.
Sorry. It is okay. All right. I just need to pull the After Dark stuff. All right. Do we know what we're talking about tonight? I don't really have a topic to talk about, and my mind is kind of fucked up right now, so I don't want to talk about what's on my mind right now because like it's still way too early to be talking about that.
That's fine. I mean, I don't want to get too depressing, but I have no qualms about talking about my shit if it's okay for me to talk about my shit.
You know what? That actually would not be a bad idea because like the advice I told you yesterday, over text, I feel like there's other people out there that need this advice.
Right. I was gonna say like it's definitely not a only me issue, so it will be applicable. But I hope it's okay. It's not a funny topic.
Yeah, and if you don't want to make it sound like it's your problem, you can say, hey, that's something we should start doing. We should start acting like we're fielding letters from the audience. So it doesn't always seem like
I think we should probably start asking questions on Twitter, like asking if anybody has any topics they want us to cover. Yeah, for real. Because I mean, I love the transparency that we give to the audience. It's kind of what I live for on this stuff, which is why, even though I bitch and moan about the fact that my YouTube channel never grows and stuff like that, I love the fact that, with the podcast and stuff, I can be transparent and, and be this person, that the fuckers on Facebook wouldn't let me be. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we haven't. I mean, we can promote the email address if people don't want to tweet at us, so it's not public.
Yeah, let's do that.
afterdark.bossrush@gmail.com.
Afterdark.bossrush@gmail.com. Okay, I can remember that. That's easy.
I know. I've been redoing all the not redoing the email addresses, but I've been making proper email addresses. Like, it's podcast.bossrush@gmail.com. It's 1v1.bossrush@gmail.com.
That's a lot of emails.
It is, but it keeps everything separate. And I mean, I think
they said this bullshit was for DaVinci Resolve, and this is all fucking After Effects. I hate you guys.
Huh?
I bought a content pack that was supposed to have stuff like subscribe and all this stuff.
Oh,
and,
gross!
And it said it was for fucking DaVinci, and this is completely fucking After Effects.
Gross. Stupid.
Fuck. Corey, do you have a like, subscribe, and notify thing?
No. I don't have time to do all that.
You made all these other assets, stuff like that, which I am very appreciative for, by the way. But yeah, do
you want to like, subscribe? Tell me what you want, and I'll make it for you.
We'll talk later. We'll talk later. All right, I'm ready to record if you guys are.
And don't send me any eggplant emojis. Not making that.
How about if I send you the inspiration for the eggplant emoji? How about that?
God.
I would never send an unsolicited dick pic. I would never. Why do I feel like Corey's recording and he just clipped that?
I've been recording for 10 minutes.
All right, well, I'm ready to go in 3, 2, 1.